Toxic relationships can come in many forms and occur in any area of our lives. Romantic partnerships, friendships, family dynamics, and even workplace connections. Here are the top 8 toxic relationships. The manipulative relationship. Manipulative relationships are built on deceit and control. Manipulators are experts at twisting situations to their advantage, often at the expense of the people around them. One of the most classic manipulative tactics is guilt tripping. Imagine this scenario. You've had a long week and you're looking forward to some downtime over the weekend. You make plans to go to a spa or hang out with a group of friends. But then, your partner or friend calls you and she says, "I really needed you this weekend, but I guess you have more important things to do." They might add, "I'm used to it by now. I shouldn't have expected you to care." This kind of manipulation plays on your emotions, making you feel like you're being selfish for wanting to take care of yourself or spend time with others. It's a way for the manipulator to maintain control by making you feel responsible for their emotions and needs. Why do manipulators do this? Often it's because they feel insecure and need constant validation that they are important in your life. By making you feel guilty, they can keep you focused on them and their needs, ensuring that you'll prioritize them over yourself. Being in a manipulative relationship can be incredibly draining. You're constantly second-guessing your decisions and feeling like you're walking on eggshells. It's a situation where you're always on the defensive, trying to justify your actions and reassure the manipulator that they matter to you. The narcissistic relationship. Next, let's talk about narcissistic relationships. These are relationships where one person has an inflated sense of their own importance and a deep need for admiration. Narcissists believe they are superior to others and have little regard for other people's feelings. They often seek to control and put down the people around them to maintain their self-image. Imagine being at a party with your partner who is a narcissist. You're in the middle of a conversation with a group of friends, talking about something that happened at work. Suddenly, your partner interrupts and starts talking about their own achievements, completely disregarding what you were saying. If you try to steer the conversation back or gently point out the interruption, they might dismiss you with, "Well, everyone knows my stories are more interesting." Narcissists thrive on attention and admiration. They need to be the center of attention and often lack empathy for others. Their behavior can make you feel invisible and unimportant, as if your thoughts and feelings don't matter. This can lead to a sense of isolation and loneliness, even when you're in a room full of people. In a narcissistic relationship, you might find yourself constantly giving in order to meet their needs and expectations. Your own needs and feelings are often dismissed or ignored, leaving you feeling emotionally neglected and unappreciated. The codependent relationship. Now let's explore codependent relationships. These relationships are characterized by a cycle of dependency, where one person feels responsible for the other's happiness and well-being. In a codependent relationship, there is often a lack of boundaries, and it feels like two individuals' identities become intertwined. Imagine you have a friend who is going through a tough time and relies on you for emotional support. At first, you're happy to help, but over time, it becomes clear that they depend on you for everything. They call you multiple times a day, expecting you to drop everything to listen to their problems. If you don't answer or can't talk, they accuse you of not caring about them. This dynamic can be incredibly draining. The caretaker in the relationship might feel exhausted and unappreciated, while the dependent partner feels helpless and incapable of managing their own life. The caretaker often sacrifices their own needs and desires to take care of the other person, leading to feelings of resentment and frustration. Why do people become codependent? Often it stems from a fear of abandonment or a need for validation. The caretaker might feel that they are only valuable if they are needed by the other person, while the dependent partner might fear being alone or unsupported. Breaking free from a codependent relationship requires setting boundaries and learning to prioritize your own needs. It's about recognizing that you are not responsible for the other person's happiness and that you deserve to have your own needs met as well. The abusive relationship. Abuse can take many forms, including physical, emotional, psychological, and sexual abuse. It involves a pattern of behavior used to gain and maintain power and control over another person. Physical abuse is perhaps the most visible form of abuse, but emotional and psychological abuse can be just as damaging. Imagine being in a relationship where your partner constantly belittles and criticizes you. They might call you names, make fun of your appearance, or tell you that you're worthless and unlovable. Abuse often starts subtly, with the abuser slowly isolating the victim from their friends and family. They might start by criticizing your loved ones, making you feel like you have no one else to turn to. The abuser might also use threats, intimidation, or manipulation to control your behavior. For example, they might say things like, "If you ever leave me, I'll hurt myself," or "No one else will ever love you the way I do." This behavior is about control and power. The abuser seeks to dominate the relationship and the victim, often using fear and intimidation to keep them in line. The victim, in turn, may feel trapped and powerless, believing that they have no way out of the relationship. If you're in an abusive relationship, it's important to recognize that the abuse is not your fault and that you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness. Seeking help and support is a crucial step in breaking free from the cycle of abuse. The one-sided relationship. Another type of toxic relationship is the one-sided relationship. This is where you feel like you're the only one putting in effort. You're the one always reaching out, making plans, and checking in, while the other person rarely reciprocates. Imagine you have a friend who you've known for years. You've always been there for them, listening to their problems and offering advice. But whenever you need support or want to share something important, they're nowhere to be found. They might cancel plans at the last minute or never reply to your messages. This kind of relationship can leave you feeling unappreciated and undervalued. You might start to question your worth and wonder if you're asking too much. But in reality, a healthy relationship is a two-way street where both people put in effort and care. Why do one-sided relationships happen? Sometimes the other person is simply unaware of how their behavior affects you. Other times, they might take your friendship for granted, assuming you'll always be there no matter what. Whatever the reason, it's important to recognize when a relationship is no longer serving you and to have the courage to set boundaries or walk away. The jealous and possessive relationship. Next, let's discuss the jealous and possessive relationship. This is a relationship where one person is constantly suspicious and controlling. They might accuse you of cheating or flirting, even when you've done nothing wrong. They might also try to control who you talk to or spend time with. Imagine being in a relationship where your partner insists on knowing your every move. They might constantly check your phone or social media, looking for evidence of infidelity or betrayal. If you go out with friends, they might call or text you repeatedly, demanding to know where you are and who you're with. This kind of behavior is often rooted in insecurity and fear of abandonment. The jealous and possessive partner might believe that controlling you is the only way to keep you close. However, this behavior can be incredibly suffocating and damaging to your sense of self. In a jealous and possessive relationship, you might feel like you're losing your freedom and autonomy. You might start to feel anxious or guilty for doing things that are perfectly normal, like spending time with friends or pursuing your own interests. The gaslighting relationship. Now, let's talk about gaslighting, a form of psychological manipulation where the abuser makes you question your own reality and sanity. Gaslighting can be incredibly insidious and difficult to recognize because it often starts subtly and builds over time. Imagine you're in a relationship where your partner frequently denies things they've said or done, even when you have clear evidence. For example, they might insist that they never said something hurtful or that an event you remember clearly never happened. Over time, you start to doubt your own memory and perception, wondering if you're going crazy. Gaslighting is a powerful tool of manipulation because it makes you doubt your own thoughts and feelings. The gaslighter often uses this tactic to maintain control and power in the relationship. By making you question your own reality, they can manipulate you into believing their version of events and agreeing to their demands. In a gaslighting relationship, you might feel like you're losing your grip on reality. You might start to feel anxious or depressed, unsure of what's real and what's not. It's a deeply disorienting and damaging experience that can take a serious toll on your mental health. The competitive relationship. Another type of toxic relationship is the competitive relationship. This is a relationship where one person always feels the need to one-up the other. They might turn everything into a competition, from career achievements to personal accomplishments. Imagine you get a promotion at work and you're excited to share the news with your friend. Instead of being happy for you, they immediately start talking about their own success, or worse, they downplay your achievement by saying things like, "Oh, that's nice, but it's not as impressive as what I did last year." This kind of relationship can be incredibly frustrating and demoralizing. Instead of feeling supported and celebrated, you feel like you're constantly being compared and judged. The competitive person often feels insecure and needs to prove their worth by outperforming others. In a competitive relationship, you might start to feel inadequate or unworthy, as if nothing you do is ever good enough. You might also feel resentful or angry, wondering why your friend or partner can't just be happy for you. Conclusion. So, what can we do about these toxic relationships? The first step is recognizing the signs and understanding that you deserve better. It's about setting boundaries and prioritizing your own well-being. It's about having the courage to walk away from relationships that no longer serve you. Remember, you're not alone. There are resources and support systems out there to help you navigate these difficult situations. Whether it's talking to a therapist, reaching out to friends and family, or joining a support group, there are people who care and want to help. Let's commit to building healthier, more supportive relationships, because at the end of the day, we all deserve to be treated with kindness and compassion. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, share it with someone who might need to hear this.